Welcome one and all to the Back of the Nest preview podcast. Yes, it's Terence's voice. Imagine that on a preview podcast. Just me and Hesketh tonight to build you up to, I'd say build you up to Aston Villa. It's going to be more of a player of the year and 500th Palace game in the Premier League review more than anything. But we'll get to Villa and touch on it a little bit. Before that, let me introduce you to the one and only Sam Hesketh. Thank you for picking up the reins for me while I've been off slacking.
Oh, no worries. I thought you'd fallen down a well.
So yeah, well,
relieved that you're back dry, ready to rumble.
I actually got bollocks by someone at the game the other day. It was, you could be bothered to turn up to games, but not the pod. Is that how it goes? So, so I hope you all miss me. I'm sorry I've been away. Albert is still on holiday. He's probably, I don't know, neck deep in a pint of Efes somewhere right now.
We keep sending pictures to our WhatsApp group, just like, oh, I'm inside a pub at the moment, or I'm at a bar. Here's my view from the bar. Here's my view from another bar. And he reckons it's not a holiday, but all we see is the inside of a bar and a half-drunk glass of beer. So.
Yeah.
Believe what you want.
What was it he said he was doing? I didn't understand what he said he was doing.
I think he said he's on a recce.
Yeah, recce, but okay. Yeah.
So he was testing the bar out.
Well,
yeah.
For what? For after work drinks?
Yeah, for the next time they go to that bar.
Yeah, I don't know. We're talking a beer. The beer festival is upon us this Saturday. You heading down?
I am.
Yes, I'm going to try and head down. I haven't broached the subject of the missus yet. So if you do see me, it might be with a small baby attached to me in a sling or something. It might be the only way I'll get down there. But after reading Steve Browitt's expert review on the website of what beers are available, I certainly want to at least try and get down there for a couple. You guys making a day of it?
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking about going to this open training session, but then no one that I know wants to go, and I think it's a bit weird if I just go on my own.
What's the date of that one?
So that's directly before the beer festival. That's literally like the hour before the beer festival opens.
Oh.
So I think that's 11 till 12, and then the beer festival opens at 12.
Is it at Selhurst, the training session?
Yeah, so it's on the pitch.
Oh, okay.
And you register, like it's free, but you have to register your seat or your ticket or whatever. But I'm going to be there for 3 or 4 hours drinking beer anyway, so I don't really want to be there for an extra hour. I'm just having a cup of weak coffee.
But yeah, so good luck to everyone who's going down there. Don't go nuts. Drinking thirds, not pints.
To be fair,
go on.
I've got some friends coming to the beer festival, and I've just said to them, don't buy full pints, even if you think you're going to like it, because A, if you don't like it, you've got a full pint that you've got to get rid of. And B, if you stay till near the end when they want to clear everything out, you pay for half a pint and you get a full pint anyway. Yeah. So pace yourselves.
So the best thing is to just go later in the day and then get those prices anyway. Like it. Look at that hot tips from someone who's been to every beer festival.
Oh God, most of them. I don't even drink beer.
I can't believe it's the 10th one already.
I know, it's mad. You think, well, obviously we missed a couple because of COVID. Seems mad that it's been going on that long.
So I still can't believe it's the 10th one and it should be the 12th one. Ridiculous.
Yeah, mad.
Absolutely ridiculous. What's else been going this week? Oh, Crystal Palace fan Holly Walsh won a BAFTA for writing Motherland.
Wow, very nice.
Crystal Palace power couple Holly Walsh and John Petrie now both have BAFTAs. So I held one once before I went to the house, and I picked up the BAFTA and did the whole like acceptance speech and all of that. They are heavy, like in the Professor Green with the BAFTA in the pool room. Like could be a thing.
I was going to say
Green was Professor Green's the rapper.
Professor Plum.
Professor Plum. There you go.
I was just going to say, if they've got so many, they're going to end up using them for doorstops or something like that, aren't they? If you go around their house,
They could be used as a doorstop. They are that heavy. The base is that heavy. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, congratulations, Tony Walsh. And if you haven't watched Motherland, particularly if you're a parent, you'll probably love it. It's very funny. So get on that. Player of the Year awards. So talking of awards, they've happened.
they have.
We didn't get our annual picture, unfortunately. Neither of us made it down.
We didn't. Gutted.
So no one can blame us for booing Luka Milivojevic. What the fuck?
Yeah, that's bad.
Who's booing the club captain or Player of the Year awards?
Yeah, like I didn't really have any context beyond like the next day. I just saw a few people that I know who were saying that Luka was getting booed. It's just like, I just don't understand the point. Oh, he's not had a good season. Why are you booing him?
Yeah.
You know,
everyone it's well publicised what his problems are.
Exactly. And even if he's just had a shit season, don't boo him. Like, especially, but you know, we've had this sort of we're the best fans in the league, and the media think that we're really good fans and supportive, even when our team was crap in the past. Can't then turn around and say that and then boo the club captain because you think he's had a shit season. So yeah, stupid business.
Oh, we've got the best fans and all of that, but our fan base is in a precarious position at the moment. It's mental, really. Like the things you hear after every game. You can't seem to get past the Palace game without there being some sort of infighting going on somewhere, which just seems mental.
Yeah, there was more. I read on the BBS at the who do we play? Oh, Watford game. Apparently, in the after it all kicked off, and some old guy had to go to hospital. People didn't really seem to know what the cause of it was beyond, you know, a certain type of powder. But like these things, you're right. These things, you just hear it like after almost every game, home and away, that something's kicked off or something's gone down. It's just, I don't know if it's because we had that season where we weren't allowed, and now people have just sort of thought fuck it, and whether that's a reason, but pretty shit. It's not why I go to football.
Yeah, absolutely. I really hope it avoids me. I don't need to be in the middle of any trouble. I'm too tired. I'm too tired to fight. I've got 2 kids running me into the ground. Leave me alone. So the awards themselves. I mean, I've got various problems with some of them.
Yeah.
Goal of the season. I've got a problem with this. Wilfried Zaha. Now it's an amazing strike. Wilfried Zaha against Norwich. It's an amazing strike. Don't get me wrong. Technically, in terms of a strike and a goal, what you want to sort of see, like properly top corner from the edge of the ball, like yes, it's got all the credentials, but it was the goal when we were stood next together and went absolutely bonkers at Brighton that is the clear winner here.
Yeah, for numerous reasons. One, it's against Brighton, that multiplies it by 100. But 2, like, you know, when you see like prime Barcelona, where scoring goals where like everyone touches the ball, the opposition don't get near them and they score, you're like, oh fucking hell, that's like unbelievable. That's what happened. Like literally every single player touched the ball. He had flicks in there, like passes under pressure.
Joel Ward turning into Cafu.
Yeah, Joel Ward ending up on the left wing. Even the point where Schlupp sort of like moves his body around and gets the ball back to Gallagher, who then finds a spot in the net beyond a 6'7" Dan Burn diving past it. That's an unbelievable goal. Like if that wasn't Palace, Sky would be doing analysis with their little, board thing, like non-stop if that was Liverpool. So, and finally, you and I were stood next to each other, which is cause enough.
And it was after the guy in front of us threw the smoke bomb and
Yes,
allowed Butland to save a penalty. But yeah, just I don't know. I'm astonished, to be honest. I think we might never score another goal where every player touches the ball. Like,
yeah,
we legit might never do that again.
yeah.
And I remember one year being at Blackburn away, and it was right at the end of the season. I think it might have been a promotion season. Yeah, it would have been a promotion season when we drew 1-1. Stephen Dobby scored. And
Can I just say, that was my wife's first ever Palace away game.
Oh, at Blackburn, okay.
I know how to treat a lady.
And was her next one like Millwall away the following week, or was that the week? That might have been the game before. I can't remember. It was somewhere around there. It was that period where it was respect the point, well and truly. Drew a few games, but at the Blackburn game, they had their goal of the season result, and it was a done tap-in at the back post against Burnley. And it was like 99.4% of the vote.
Yeah. I remember that now you said that. Yeah. Exactly, man.
Yeah, that's it. Because it's against Brighton, it's all that should matter. But there you go. So Zaha goal of the season, don't agree with. Adam Ramola, under 18s player of the season. It's hard to argue with. There are a couple of players who have scored a fair amount of goals in that team as well, but he's made forays into the first team. Talked about got into the Islands, younger Island squad. So fair enough.
Yeah. I mean, in the games that I've seen him in, the 18s and the 23s, he's been really, really good. So,
and was this far away from scoring for the first team as well.
I know, that would have been amazing. And like you say, in the fact that he's played for the first team shows that he's obviously well thought of as well. So, no problem with that at all.
Then obviously Jezra Rexaki wins Player of the Year for the under-23s. Again, unsurprising. What is surprising, not as many first team minutes, or basically none. And there's been a lot of talk from the club about how they now regret not loaning him out in January to get the minutes away, because I don't think the under-23 league's there at the moment. I think in 5 years' time, it might be a better environment to develop yourself, but I still don't think it's quite matching going and playing 6 months in League One or League Two, probably.
Yeah, I mean, he's obviously very good at the under-23 level, because I think he ended up joint top scorer. So he's obviously, we all know he's talented, but like you say, if you can see him play against, I don't know, it's sort of cliched, but players who need to pay their mortgage so the games matter, sort of thing. And if you can be a skillful wide player when all the defenders are just trying to kick you up in the air, then that gives you another dimension as well, doesn't it? So, yeah, it doesn't surprise me that Palace say that they sort of regret it now. Obviously, hindsight's great, but if he's not going to automatically get in the first team squad next year, you would think that he'd probably kick off the season next year with a loan, which will probably be very good for him.
Now, I should have asked you this next question prior to recording to check if you've watched it, because you have Palace TV. Coming of Age, have you watched any of it yet?
Watched the first episode.
Okay. Episode 2 is now out as well. How are you feeling about it? Good viewing?
Yeah, it is good. It's good. It's got quite a focus on the coaches and what they think about the academy and how their football should be played. Darren Powell comes across really, really well in it, and he seems to be a lot about relationships with players. Like players being able to trust their coaches and vice versa, and becoming more of a family. And then you have a few
coming through a man who knocked someone out in their wheelchair at Sunderland.
Exactly, I said exactly. They showed the Sunderland goal, and I was like, let's just wait and see. But yeah, it's really good. The start of the season they start quite well, but then there's a game where they play against Tottenham and lose quite heavily. So it's good to see that side of things as well, how the coaches deal with it, how they deal with it. So yeah, it's well worth a watch. I think the episodes are like 35, 40 minutes maybe. So yeah, really good, really well worth a watch.
Yeah, my cousin played for Spurs that day when they heavily beat us. Yeah. effectively cost us the title as well, really,
Mm-hmm.
when you think about it, that season. So episode 2 is out now. I saw a little clip with it with Wells Morrison talking about the Brighton game. He's like, make sure you wear your studs for that one.
Nice.
But it's like just awareness as well. It's like, this is the one the fans are going to be looking out for. So it's the ones we want to win because social media will be looking, that kind of scenario. But yeah, Palace TV for your coming of age documentary. Can't really comment on Women's Player of the Year, Amy Everett. I haven't managed to get down to any games. I certainly will once my daughter's at a better age. Already been getting her down to little kickers on a Sunday.
Nice.
8:30 on a Sunday morning. Feels
That's
like
nice.
I'm back playing Sunday League, yeah. But no, so definitely going to get her interested in that when she is... the indoctrination started, to be honest. She's constantly kicking anything that's ball-shaped, so she's well on her way.
Good.
Yeah.
As it should be.
Women's player Lee Nicol and forgotten man Nathan Ferguson win community champion awards. So well done to them. It's good that Ferguson's being able to, he's taking that seriously and doing it well,
Yeah. And I think one of his quotes was saying sort of, it's been a really rough couple of years, obviously, but he said the club have been very supportive of him. So it's sort of like paying it forward, I guess. Like he has gotten really involved in the community stuff, which is great.
Yeah.
He seems like a really good guy. Same with Lee Nicol. She seems great. So those two being the community award recipients, it isn't really a shock,
Yeah. Chairman's Outstanding Contribution Award this year goes to Danny Young. The video from the players for him was just lovely. Like,
it was.
Yeah, everyone clearly respects him and looks up to him like that older brother kind of thing, and no one's got a bad word to say about him. That's
it. The way they're all sort of like, because they all get asked, what does he do? And they're like, we don't really know, but he also sort of does everything. He's got 30 calls and 30 WhatsApp messages on the go at once, but he always gets you what you need so that we can concentrate on getting to work on the tactics on the training pitch. And then there was a clip of him with when they had the Down syndrome team come into training, which is also really nice. So yeah, considering in my head he's always been known as Danny the Kit Man, for him to now be like Danny the do absolutely everything and everyone loves him, man. Good for him.
Yeah, fair play. Player of the Year. I'm shocked, to be honest, that Connor got it. I would, if it was 7-8 games ago, I wouldn't have been shocked. After the last 10 games he's had, and don't get me wrong, like, he's obviously the goals and assists have dried up, and those are what grabbed the numbers. And the guy's still running around like a blue ass fly, pressing people and trying to put in tackles. But a lot more fouls have been creeping in. He's not been quite getting it right. I think there's a clear first, real season playing in that high intensity pressing role. He played for West Brom for a best part of the season, but a far deeper role and not as much advance up the field. And I haven't looked at the stats, but I'm assuming if they were put in front of me on the page, there's no way he would have run the kilometres that he's done playing for Palace. And I think he's burned himself out a little bit, and that just comes with learning how to manage yourself and manage your body over the course of the season, because he's basically stayed fit for all of it, right? He's not been injured. He's been playing for England. He's gone away and played for England as well during the time. There's been no rest, basically, no respite. Somehow he even managed to avoid suspension. God knows how.
I know. That's the biggest shock of all.
Yeah, it seemed like, didn't he have 4 yellows after 5 games at the beginning of the season or something? So goodness knows how he avoided that. But so I don't like, he's worthy in a sense of the award. He's scored 8 goals from midfield, whatever. That might end up at being 10. We've still got a few games left. It might get a couple more, and all good to him. But I feel like over the course of the season, Mark Gay is, he wins player of the year, and I think that tells you a lot that he's won player of the year.
Yeah, I mean, like you say, I understand why people would vote for Gallagher, and he has had a good season. Like the last, like you say, 7 or 8 games maybe haven't been quite as good, but he's still good. I would still say he's had a very good season. Whether Chelsea fans could have voted as well, because it was an open vote, who knows? But yeah, for me, Gay, he got my vote. He's just like, he looked good at the start of the season anyway, but now he's just imperious. That's the only word I can think to use of him, because he's not really tall. He doesn't look massive, but he never gets like shoved out the way. His positional play is brilliant. He can play with both feet. He scored goals. There's that ridiculous stat about how only one player's dribbled past him all season or whatever.
And he didn't. I mean, it's the most nonsense awarding of a dribble to someone I've ever seen. I watched games where Zaha has dribbled past multiple people multiple times, and then the stats tell me he had 2 dribbles in the game, and I'm like,
yeah,
what? And this Adam Arola one is like, Gay's just ushering him into Palace traffic.
Yeah.
He's not dribbled past him. Gay's just ushered him that way to get tackled, which is what happens. So it seems really weird.
But yeah, like I just think like he's just had a brilliant season. Him being made captain at 21 says a lot. And like you say, he won Player of the Year. They all know. They see him even more than we do. They know what a good player he is. They know how important he is to us. And the partnership that he's built with Anderson has been great. So he would have been who I want. Well, he was who I wanted to win. I was shocked he didn't win it, to be honest. But the Player of the Year sort of, like you say, proves the point, doesn't it?
Yeah. I missed out Young Player of the Year, obviously going to Tyreek Mitchell. No real shock there. The other candidates, I'm trying to think the other candidates for Player of the Year. So has Zaha's season been that different to any of the other seasons, right? Because I think once you factor in penalty goals, so he's got has he got 14 or 13 now? When you factor in penalty goals, if you take those away, it's just like a regular season for him in terms of goal outputs. But his form since he come back from the AFCON has been, most games he's been on it, right? It was that, it's like the infamous gets sent off at Spurs, and actually quite a few people are pissed off with him. Goes off to the AFCON and comes back, and since then he's just been electric.
Bit on one, yeah. I mean, look, well how much I love Wilf. And I think, sort of, again, I didn't think the first half of the season was bad by any means, but yeah, the sort of little run around Christmas wasn't great. But we knew we were going to miss him, because we always do when he's not around when he went to AFCON. And since then, he's been brilliant. And I think a lot of, when you hear him in interviews and stuff, a lot of what comes out is he realises he's the older, experienced player now. When you're talking about like Ebbs and Elise and Connor and those sort of players, like Wilf is the experienced one, even though he's not even 30. It's weird to say. And I think, this is just me saying this, but I think he's really relishing that. I think that's made a difference to him, because now in interviews he's like, this is just the beginning of what we can do. Like, this team is capable of doing more. And he knows he's part of that. Like, we always have the discussion about his contract every year. But I really think he's enjoying it here. I think Vieira knows how important he is. And yeah, the second half of the season, I think he's been brilliant. I think if you were to put a short list of who would be Player of the Year, I think he'd be on it for me.
Yeah, Kai, if anyone could have seen Hesketh's face there, he was so uncomfortable talking about great things to come. But he was, our post the Southampton game, Wilf was talking about how proud he was of Eze and stuff. So you can tell he's definitely taken on that more like senior role in the team. And the language that comes out of his mouth now doesn't seem like, to me, someone who's planning on leaving the club.
It's also, remember when every interview that he did, it would just say that he was buzzing, and that was it.
Yeah,
he's coming a long way.
Indeed. In 5 years' time, he's going to be on Match of the Day or something when he retires. Maybe not 5 years, longer than that. Let's hope. So yeah, all in all, I think I shouldn't. I feel a bit of a way about a lone player winning our Player of the Year. I do. I shouldn't. It shouldn't matter. And because all the language around him has been like how he's taken the club fully to heart and clearly loves the fans and the relationship he's built with them, and very clearly has, you know, been a positive influence to everyone around the club. So I shouldn't feel that way, but part of me does a little bit.
At least it wasn't as much of a robbery as Johnny Parr winning over Anthony Gardner. I'll never go over that.
That was disgraceful. But back in the day, then that was when I was doing my blog and things like that, and I had a vote, like a Twitter poll vote or something. No, it wasn't. Twitter polls didn't exist then. It was like a separate vote, and I got more votes than the official vote on that because that was the days when it was only the people basically who went voted, right?
Yeah,
do you remember that? Mm-hmm. And Gardner cleaned up, got about 75% of the vote on that. Everyone knew. It was just a weird one on the night that Parr won that somehow. No idea.
Weird.
Did they? Yeah, very bizarre. He played a lot of games.
No shade to Johnny Parr. I quite liked him, but Anthony Gardner was Player of the Year that year.
Well, they didn't. Johnny Parr say he was we were a stepping stone for bigger things for him when he first came. Brilliant. Okay. Yeah, true. No shade, Johnny Parr. Fair play, Johnny Parr. Okay. This coming weekend against Aston Villa will be our 500th game in the Premier League. And we've been asked to vote on the greatest game of those 500. Now, this is an extensive list.
Yes,
we got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, probably 30 games. Something like that on there. I'm just going to discount some for us, whether you've got an input or not. 92, 93, Palace 3, Blackburn 3, ain't happening.
No.
So that would have been our first game was it the first one?
That was the first game of the season, yeah.
Yeah. So first Premier League game of Shearer making his debut for Blackburn as well.
Yeah.
I think that's in there. The clear winner is 94-95, 2-1 win at Highbury. Salako getting both goals, which was my first ever Palace game. So,
nice. I was not there.
And then we get to 97-98 season, 2-1 at Everton. Lombardo scoring on his debut.
Mm-hmm.
This was also my 15th birthday, so
happy birthday to you.
Yeah, good candidate. Rather bizarrely, the 2-0 win at Leeds a couple of weeks later isn't on there either, which was also a great win because it spawned the picture of Lombardo running off celebrating with Hopkin in the background with his hands on his head, which is, you know, this is the man that came to replace you. Somehow we replaced David Hopkin with Attilio Lombardo.
And that goal was great as well.
It was absolutely brilliant. In the air 1-2 with Paul Warhurst. I think that's probably the only way Warhurst could play a 1-2. It's actually Warhurst to Lombardo for Clinton Morrison's first Palace goal. Punted it downfield and Lombardo somehow run past Pressman.
Why was that not on the list? Outrageous.
Yeah. 1-1, Aki Riolati against Arsenal in the 04-05 season. I mean, if Lakis scores at the back post, I reckon that one has a good shot, to be honest. And I wasn't even at that one. I was playing football then and couldn't get a ticket. And yeah, if Lakis makes that 2-1 and we win that game against they were Invincibles the season before.
Yeah, I think so.
And I think they'd only just lost a couple of weeks before our game against Man United, so they'd lost like once in a long time. So yep, can see why it's there, but I think it just slightly misses off. I'm going to delete that one. Palace 3, Spurs 0, 04-05. Lidgertwood, Granville and Johnson.
That was all right.
It was all right. I think the 3-0 this season was a better performance. Andy Johnson against Liverpool when they were they about to go on to win the Champions League? They were, weren't they?
Yeah. I remember at the time, I can see the goal now. I remember that felt massive.
Yeah.
At the time, so I can see what's on there. It won't get my vote, but I can see what's on there.
No, I agree. Then we're fast forward all the way to 13-14, obviously. Palace 1, Chelsea 0, John Terry own goal. I feel like that's on there for banter.
Yeah. Absolutely hilarious.
To say it, I think it's not going to win, is it? I think this is the clear favourite. Palace 3, Liverpool 3.
Yeah. We discussed Crystal Ball last week on the show because I think it was the anniversary of it. Probably win just because it's the most famous game of the lot, I think.
Yeah, but I really don't want to draw to win because that is just asking for trouble.
It is. That's it.
Palace 3, Liverpool 1. That's the Jednak free kick at Selhurst.
That was good.
4-1 at Sunderland, Balassi hat-trick. I mean, that was good, but they're terrible. They were terrible.
Yeah, there's a little asterisk by how bad they are there. So
yeah. And this is one of my favourites on the list, the 3-1 win at Anfield. Gerrard's last game.
Yeah, I was another one. I was in Lisbon on a stag with my mate, who's a Palace fan, Jason, and we were all camped out in front of this bar in the town where we were staying in a place called Cascais, and they sort of hung a TV out of the window of this bar, and there was like how many of it, 15, 16 of us watching it. And one of my mates who is just a lovely bloke turned around and gave a couple of Liverpool fans behind him the smuggest sort of abuse. So my memory of that is like I wasn't there, but I still have like a great memory of the game for my mate telling some Liverpool fans to shut up, basically. So, that was a good one.
Yeah, that was an excellent afternoon. That really was. Another favourite of mine, the 2-1 at Chelsea, Sacco and Joel Ward. Just the whole Chelsea getting the equaliser, all of the sort of stuff afterwards, like seeing on social media, Chelsea like being like, yes, 1-1, now let's go on and win this. And then the very next tweet is goal, Joel Ward, 2-1 Palace.
That was beautiful. A great one.
We so rarely beat Chelsea, it feels like, at their place. 2-1 at Liverpool. This is obviously in the midst of our 3 in a row. That's the Balassi and Dan one. That was also fucking brilliant.
Yes, it was. Yeah, that was fun.
5-1 against Newcastle. Again, asterisk against how shit they were. Connor Wickham was outstanding that day.
He was, and enjoyable because Papi Cisse did the 1-0 when he put them 1-0 up in front of the Homesdale, and then regretted it for the next 80 minutes.
Cisse, what's the score?
That was good.
Famous Palace 1 against Norwich, 1-0. My only problem with that is just that the run was horrendous. Like being 5th at Christmas and then having to worry about surviving relegation sucked. So just for that, it's off the list for me.
Yeah.
Then we got the second 2-1 at Chelsea, Zaha and Benteke. This was also class.
That was so good.
Mainly for what Benteke did to Courtois was shockingly outrageous. That is your favourite one that you missed. Palace 3, Arsenal 0, Townsend, Kabay and Luca. Good win. I've set up the piece. We rarely beat Chelsea, and this is the 4th Chelsea win in here. This was Roy's first win as Palace manager after we'd gone 7 without a win. Mm-hmm. Zaha came back from injury, scored the winner. I don't think that one's, out of all the Chelsea, that's not even the best one out of all the Chelsea ones.
No, I think that was more like a relief that we'd even scored a goal more than anything.
Yeah. 3-2 against Brighton at Selhurst. It was good fun, but it's not even the best Brighton one on the list.
No.
5-0 against Leicester at Selhurst. That was fun. And that was a great performance as well. It really was. I think that's
one of the goals in that game as well.
Yeah.
Really good goals.
I think that might be one of the ones where Jamie Vardy's up there with Lukaku on the fewest touches in a Premier League game list. Yeah, astonishing. And straight after him on that list is Casper Schmeichel from the same game. How can you have the fewest touches and your team's lost 5-0?
Yeah.
Utterly ludicrous. This is the game that got my vote. Man City 2, Palace 3. Townsend's goal, of course, is just utterly outrageous. But Man City won 18 of 19 Premier League games that season at home and annihilated everyone. So just when Luca put the penalty away, just everyone just in complete shock in the away end as they're falling downstairs and over seats. It's just like, what is happening? What a day. That was just brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, that would probably get mine as well. I think as well, Man City went 1-0 up, and I think all of us were stood there like, well, it was nice while it lasted. So to come back from being 1-0 down, Schluppy's goal was good to equalise. Andros's goal was absolutely unbelievable. And I remember we were talking, you and I, in the concourse at half time, and I was definitely saying Man City are going to score within 10 minutes of the second half. And then it was us who scored. And then I was just shitting myself the whole time. And when that De Bruyne scored a sort of fluky cross shot.
Fluke goal. Lucky goal.
I was like, fluke goal, lucky goal, average. When he scored that, I was like, oh, well, you know that they're going to score another one. So for us to sort of come away with that win, like you say, in a season where they beat literally everyone else.
Yeah.
And we were really good value for it. I thought we paid really well that day. So that would get my vote, I think.
Yeah, really good. Got another 2-3 away win. Arsenal. This was a great day. This was a really great day.
First time I ever saw us beat Arsenal.
Blazing sunshine. It was brilliant. Like it was one of my favourites as well. I can't see it winning, but it was a fantastic day. As was 1921 2-1 win at Manchester United, only team to score an injury time winner in the Premier League at Old Trafford. Patrick Van Aanholt, and that was again after that little shitbag Dan James equalised. Went and folded his arms in front of the Stretford, just like, you play for Man United, mate. You can't be celebrating equalisers against Palace at Old Trafford. Actually did the right thing. He should have wasted more time over there. All right, great. And that was also the day I found out, me and the missus found out she was pregnant with our first child. So great day for me personally. Palace 2, West Ham 1. Weird ones beyond there. It's Ayew's amazing goal, but I don't think it's on the list. 1-0 at Brighton, Ayew. I mean, the fact that we were largely dreadful that day.
Yeah.
it's funny. But again, I don't think it tops the 2-1 at Brighton, so it's not even the best Brighton one on there. The only difference is we were there, I guess. That was 3-1 at Old Trafford. Zaha scoring twice is, again, it's kind of these two. The Brighton one is next. Brighton 1, Palace 2 with a Mateta back here and a Benteke late. Asterisk because no fans were there.
Yeah.
It's disappointing. But both of those, if fans were there, would have been incredible.
Oh, carnage. Yeah, it'd have been brilliant.
Closing in now. Palace 3, Spurs 0 from this season. We were imperious that day. And they were top. I mean, it's funny because it's kind of a bit misleading. They were top of the league. They'd had 3 1-0 wins going into it. But they then went on a shit spiral after that, which ended up in Mourinho getting sacked. So maybe we put that into motion. But yeah, we were brilliant that day. Man City away, 2-0 this season. Zaha and Gallagher. I mean, again, we were brilliant. Good value for it as well. I think particularly in the first half, we really got at them and really, cat amongst the pigeons with our pressing high up the field and, scored a goal, forced mistake, scored a goal from it, got someone sent off because of it. And then, I'd say, largely comfortably held on, except from a 5-minute period where they had a goal disallowed. I really thought we were great value for that. So again, that's like incredible to go to the Etihad where they rarely ever lose and to actually give them a game. He must hate us. They've scored 94 goals this season and they haven't scored against us.
I'd said it before, he's got the same birthday as me and I'm the only one who's getting a birthday present that day, so bugger off.
And then the last one, not least, we've got 3-0 from Arsenal this season with Mateta, Ayew and Zaha scoring. I don't think, I don't know, for some reason it just doesn't go down as one of the greats for me. I think it was it's obviously beating Arsenal's always fun, but I think it got really sloppy in the last 20 minutes as well. Arsenal could have actually probably nicked a couple, and so for me, just not on the list. So we're pretty boring now. We've gone down that list, and we've both gone for 3-2 at the Etihad, basically. Yeah.
To be fair, I mean, I don't think many people can say that it's not a good choice.
Yeah, definitely not. Let's say as 94-95, 2-1 win at Arsenal, and 97-98, 2-1 win at Everton. Both good ones in my memory, being so young, and it all still being new. I'll never forget going to Goodison and just seeing Lombardo in a Palace shirt and just being like, what?
Mad.
Like, this is the best 15th birthday present anyone could ever get. No one could get. And then for him to just, that little poke past Neville Southall, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Right. So it's the 500th game and we're playing Aston Villa. I watched them against Liverpool the other night, and I was fully expecting Gerrard's Villa to roll over and get their bellies tickled and let Liverpool get some goal difference. But they didn't. They actually put up quite a good fight in the game, but eventually coming out 2-1, a 2-1 win for Liverpool. Before that, they'd beaten Burnley 3-1 and Norwich 2-0, and a 0-0 with Leicester. But they did get pumped 4-0 by Spurs before that and lost 2-1 at Wolves. So not in terrible form. And it's kind of an important one with the league position. They're just below us by 1 point. Worse goal difference than us. So important in terms of league position and those extra few million we always talk about this time of year for each position that you finish higher.
Yeah. I mean, and the last couple of weeks with the table being as it is, it just looks completely different at the end of every weekend. You have a couple of good results, you're 10th. You have a couple of bad results, you're 15th. So to be playing them, now when we're so close to each other, it is important. I'd like us to... I mean, look, honestly, I want us to finish above Brighton. I don't really give a shit where we finish in the league so long as Brighton are below us. So in that respect, it is important because we need to win.
I mean, I don't know. Brighton are in good form, aren't they? It's a back-to-back 3-0 and then 4-0 and away in the home game is... And Jesus, they were more than value for that 4-0 against United. It could have been 8, and United really couldn't have argued, to be honest. Couldn't believe
it. Is this the point where I jump in and I say Man U beat us 2-0 in the last game of the season?
Well, we'll get to that, but that's... the whole Cristiano Ronaldo he's tied with Ibrahimovic for most clubs scored against, and he hasn't scored against us before. So Ronaldo's aware of all those records. So he's going to be properly on it trying to score against us in that game. So we shall see. It's just as long as he gets some pelters if he tries to do that goal celebration anywhere in the stadium. Now, Aston Villa are dirty fuckers, concede a lot of fouls, and obviously we're players that get a lot of fouls. So I think you can expect to see some yellow cards from Villa, but also perhaps even reds as well. We've managed to get a couple of reds out of him in recent seasons, but did fuck all when we lost 3-0 there and got him sent down to 10 men.
Oh, that was... it's mad. I'm sure we talked about it before, but that wasn't that long after we lost 7-0 to Liverpool. But that 3-0 against Villa was way, way worse than the 7-0. That was absolutely dreadful, that game.
Yeah, it's one of those. There's, we've talked about missing United away and Brighton away, 2 great victories because fans going to be there. But it also means we missed 7-0 against Liverpool and 3-0 against Villa.
Yeah, not mad at that.
Indeed.
But I mean, you say about that, they conceded a lot of fouls. So long as we don't get the ref that was there for the Leeds game, who seemed to be absolutely adamant that he wasn't going to book any Leeds player, so long as we haven't got him, we'll be all right.
Well, I mean, Dan James, he got sent off last night for a foul on Kovacic, which is basically the exact same passage of play that we did to Joel Ward, except from he just just missed Ward's standing leg, where he caught Kovacic's. It's just like it's dreadful. You can't be flying in like that to players, and not like I'm all for full-blooded tackles. I'm absolutely all for it. And for the record, I don't think he should have been sent off against Palace because he missed him, but a yellow was right. But you can see why Joel Ward reacted the way he did, because if he's a fraction later, it could be game over for a year for Joel Ward in terms of an injury. But I'm all for full-blooded tackles, but not on the blind side into someone's planted standing leg. That's disgraceful. Yeah. That's scummy. You're a professional. As a fellow professional, we can't be doing that. As we always used to say on weekend football, Sunday league, amateur football, got to go to work on Monday, mate. Like, come on, leave it out. Like, it's outrageous. But Darren England is, talk about the referees retiring at the end of the season. Darren England is going to be one of the ones who moves up and in a more permanent fashion, and he's just been dreadful. He's been the worst ref I've seen this season on multiple occasions. Remember, he reffed the game when Newcastle came to Selhurst just after they'd been taken over, and it was how much are they paying you? Because he was just so dreadful.
Yeah, awful.
West Ham at home, that blatant pass back right at the end, didn't give that. Disgraceful referee. That one might be a bit. You want it if it's your team, all right? You do. You definitely do. Okay, so I dread to ask, what's the result going to be?
I think it's going to be a tough game. In my head, Villa away is always a tough game. I don't know why. Let's be more positive than normal. I think it'll be 1-1, and I will take a 1-0.
Well, it's weird when you look at it. As I talked about, we're 1 point apart in the table, but our seasons couldn't have been more different in the sense that they have won 13 and drawn 4, where we've won 10 and drawn 14, which is just utterly ridiculous. I've said utterly so many times on this podcast. I do apologise. But yeah, it's just madness, really, that many, with that close in the table, and it's that different. So a draw, I don't know, they seem to go all out for it for a win, so it tends to flip one way. I just think that the way they play their playing style, they're set up to beat us. I think we're going to lose again. I think we're going to lose 2-0. Oh my God.
What is happening?
Yeah, hope I'm wrong, but they just gave us a bit of a schooling in the game at Selhurst, and I just fear the same thing's going to happen again. Hopefully not. Hope Coutinho, already I'm going to curse it, seems to have gone way off the boil. so he'll inevitably score both of those goals.
Great.
I just mentioned. Right. So how do we make next week work? Do we do a double preview of Everton and United? Or do we do a review preview on the Friday of Everton United?
Excellent questions. To which I have no answer.
Yeah, we'll let you know on the socials. I don't know. I feel like if we can bang out the one on, if we're not too busy on Friday nights, because me and you are so rock and roll, that it might be part of the problem. But we'll figure it out. And of course, that'll be the last one of the season. So I'll go and dig back into the first podcast of the season and dig out our outrageous predictions and see where we're at. Because as always, I've completely forgotten what I said.
I've remembered some of my predictions.
No! Look at you raising your eyebrows. You're close on some of them, aren't you? Oh no!
Yeah. So, not that I'm going to be predicting that Wilf doesn't score another goal this season or anything, but.
Yeah, okay. You've said to get 15 then. Oh, you bastard. Well, that's a slight spoiler for next week then, but let's save the rest for then.
Yeah.
But as always, thanks for listening, and until next week, up the Palace.